Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're taking a look at Arden The Unhinged. I'm a little bit late getting this one out. I've just been trying to work out different options. The top team seems fairly similar across the board, but I've been trying to work out better options if you don't have that top team. So we're going to look at his skills, we're going to look at the best team, and then we're going to look at some of my accounts and the sort of teams I can put together to get decent damage. So let's get into the video. Okay, so we'll kick it off with the abilities of the Arden. So Arden utilizes this ability twice respectively at 30 seconds and 60 seconds into the battle. Arden entangles his enemies with vines one by one based on their battlefield locations until all enemies are entangled. Entangled enemies are unable to move and will gradually lose health over time. The entangling vines disappear 6 seconds after Arden has finished casting this ability. Really annoying if you get put in roots. Basically, you want to try and avoid that if you can. Luckily, there is ways you can. So this next ability, Nether Shield. Arden's abilities can be interrupted by control abilities. That's really important for avoiding the roots as well. That lasts for a duration of 1.5 seconds or more. Unfortunately, they had to put that 1.5 second condition in there because if that wasn't in there, Gwyneth would have been an absolute beast for this battle. Unfortunately, she's not. When Arden is unaffected by any enemy control abilities, he utilizes a passive shield that is able to reduce the damage he receives by 50%. So putting CC on him that lasts for longer than 1.5 seconds is really nice because it stops him using his abilities, and it also is going to increase the damage deal to him because it's going to remove his shield. The final ability, Lightning Fury. When used passively, a singular bolt of lightning is cast upon a random enemy every 3.5 seconds. When used actively, 5 bolts will be cast successively on multiple enemies. Enemies are struck by lightning bolts will lose the majority of the buffs they have. So pretty much it's a passive that just keeps shooting lightning bolts, and then when he uses it as like an actual active ability, it does 5 of them that go bang bang bang. That's pretty much it. You get stripped. So not much you can do about that one. It's passive and an active. It's just, it is what it is. So the thing we want to look at is the main team that everyone is using. So if you go to the leaderboard on any account, no matter what the level range, you're pretty much going to see this. Now, the thing that I really want to make note of is Rowan in the front row. Rowan in the front row is going to be really, really important because that's going to put him in range to stun the Arden. So with this team, it's just the it's so I really wish there is going to be some sort of content eventually in the game where Rowan, Rosaline, and twins are not the best option. But it's literally just put Rowan in the front row, you boost everyone enough with the twins, and then Rosaline's obviously going to buff the Chimera. Let's just hit play actually. And you got the haste buff enough that Rowan's going to stun often enough that it doesn't matter. Now, my theory behind the Baden, and I don't get the Baden theory. Well, I do get it, but I feel like there's better options. But obviously, I'm not one of these pro endgame players, so I can't test it. But I'll show you when I get onto my other accounts. So if you looked at the damage, that Baden didn't deal too much damage. We're coming up to the 1 minute mark, and this is right when he's supposed to use his entangling. But he's stunned, he's interrupted, he doesn't use his entangling roots. I feel like the theory behind the Baden is to get the phantoms to get entangled instead. Yes, when you stack the phantoms, they do good damage, but if you saw the damage chart, they really didn't do too much damage. And now this Arden is wilder faction, so to me it means that you're losing out on a bunch of damage by doing this. And the fact that when the Arden's stunned, he doesn't use his abilities. So we're coming up to 30 seconds right now. He's supposed to use his entangling roots, but he doesn't end up using them. Nothing gets entangled. It's all good. Rowan stuns him. It's game over. So I would love to see one of these endgame players. I'd love to see their testing because, like I said, obviously I don't have a well-built Baden anywhere, and this one's only Elite Plus. I feel like the damage isn't there. But anyway, this is the main team that everyone is using. So if you want to follow the best players, this is what everyone has been using. But I feel like using a different damage dealer to Baden is going to work better in this situation. Just because if we go ahead and look at my battle history here. I did try one using Grizzle instead. Really didn't work. Just really didn't work for me. He just didn't have the damage. Then I swapped the Grizzle out for a Thalia, and I got a lot more damage. So if we check that, and then we check that, you can see that the Chimera did 33 million. Over here, she's done 66. Purely because with the Grizzle run, I did get entangled. It was really weird. But if we jump over here and just hit play, what I really want to note in this one is that I don't get entangled in this battle either. So at 1 minute is when he uses his entangling roots. I feel like just having Twins and Rowan is enough that you're not going to get entangled. And with this, I'd love to test something like Eron in here, because we'll jump over to one of my other accounts and look at what Eron does. But if you look here, we're almost at 1 minute, which is where he's supposed to entangle. And you can see he's stunned, misses out on it, and he doesn't like add it into the next on the priority list. He just sort of keeps getting stunned. It looks like he tried to put his hand down and do the entangling, but he never gets to do it. So that's why I'm thinking something else. So I think Baden is like just maybe that optimal peak unit for these players, but you can really get away with anything else if you have Rowan, Rosalind, and Twins. If you don't have the Twins, it's just going to be a bit harder because you do run out of the haste and stuff like that. So Twins are going to be optimal for this. If you don't have them, just put in the best team you do have. What I'll do is I'll jump over to my other account and show you what I did there, which is my Celestial Hypergene account, where I don't actually have the Twins. As you can see, unfortunately the Twins do die in this one. And then, you know, it slows down a little bit, but we still did not get entangled. It's all happy days, doing some pretty decent damage. So that's that run. Yeah, so Baden is what all the cool kids are using. If we just go into the leaderboard and you click on anyone, it's that team every time. But like I said, I'm not too sure how necessary the Baden is, because he's not doing too much damage. And also because he's got the faction disadvantage, and he's not, the Arden isn't really getting the roots off anyway. So that's my 2 cents. This is why I took so long getting the video out, because I was trying to do testing to figure out exactly why Baden is so good for it, but that's what I found. Everyone uses Baden, so if you want to be the peak optimal player, use Baden, but I feel like if you use a different damage dealer in that spot, you're not going to lose out by too much. Anyway, let's jump over to, the Celestial Hypergene account, and I'll just show you there, because I don't have Twins on that server. But we still did manage to do some decent damage. Now in this one, we did something different. We went for a lot of crowd control, and it worked again. We didn't really get entangled, and it was pretty happy days. So let's go over here. And the thing about the entangling is he does do it one at a time, so it's a little bit slow, so you do have time, even if one person gets rooted, that you can interrupt him. So basically this is the team I used. Ended up in gold, which isn't too bad. Not a massive spender here, but if you look at the leaderboard on this one, once again, everyone is going to be using that same team. This one confuses me how it got the max damage, because Rowan's in the back row. 90% of the time you're going to see Rowan in the front row so that he can stun, but who knows? Mix it around, see what happens, but I feel like Rowan in the front row is optimal. And this is the team I use, so we'll just go look at the battle history and check it out. And yes, I do have the Tailing, which is really handy, but I brought the Eron is actually the one that's getting buffed by my Rosaline, which is really nice because he has the freeze tied to his ultimate, so you're controlling him there. You've got the mind control from her, which I had that much CC rolling that I couldn't actually see if that was interrupting him. But you know, she's just nice damage. She gives everyone a haste buff. It's handy. If you do have Mahira, it's not a bad replacement for the Twins, just because she does have that the whip where she gives everyone haste. So test it out, see how you go. And then obviously Rowan and Rosaline, just complete staples for this. Rosaline doing some decent damage, and then yes, I had my Taileen, who just hits like a truck, and it's ridiculous. So let's hit play, have a look. And the Taileen is really nice in this because she does also provide a healing option for the Rowan. But as you can see, we can freeze with the Eron ability, which is super nice. Like, freezing is good. Here you go again. So I like the idea of having the Arden and the Eron. That's why I'd like to see some of those endgame teams that are using the the Baden, switch to an Eron and see what it does, because once again, we've gone past the minute mark and you can see my team has not been entangled yet. I just feel like you'd get better damage out of an Eron than a, I don't know, because then if he does have his shield up, Eron's passive is going to make him deal more damage against him when he does have that shield. So I don't know, it's more CC, it's more, who knows, it might just be less damage. Eron might just not have the damage that it requires, but as you can see, 30 seconds is coming up, which is when he's supposed to use his entangling roots. But it looks like he got interrupted by doing his other ultimate, and then we stunned him, and it looked like Rowan had the little entangling roots coming up under him, but we stunned him in time that they didn't actually pop up and do anything. So yeah, I think you can get away without the Baden, but I think the idea behind the Baden was that if the Arden went to use the entangling roots, the Phantoms would take it. But yeah, some people I see suggest use Lucius, but on my last account, as you saw, I had a very, like, I think Elite Plus twins, and they still managed to survive almost to the end of the fight, so having an extra damage dealer I do feel is better than a Lucius. But that's pretty much all there is to it. Have a Rowan in the front row. Staple is Rowan in front row, Rosaline in the team, twins if you have them, and then whatever your best damage dealers are. Pretty much the way the fight goes. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. Hope you guys are getting some decent scores in the Unhinged fight. But yeah, not too much to it. Just stun him and pray for some RNG that you use your ultimate at the right time. You can probably try and play on manual, but I hate playing on manual because it's too slow putting on 1x speed. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.